Today in the garage, we got a 68 Dart, two-door hardtop. I drug this car out of a junkyard 18 years ago in the California desert. It's been sitting in a warehouse ever since, but now it's time to see if it'll run. This car here has the big bad leaning tower of power, slant 6. I have no idea if it'll run. The fuel system smells nasty. I put a bar on it and the engine wouldn't turn. So I'm going to try and get it broke loose and we'll see if we can fire this thing up. Let's get to work. The first thing I needed to make sure was that we could get this engine turned over. So I used a big breaker bar and started working it and actually got it to turn some. The oil looked okay for our purposes, so then I worked on getting some gas in the bowl of the carburetor so we could get this thing fired up. I unhooked the fuel line and pinched it off because I didn't want the fuel pump pumping dirty fuel all over the engine, and then I just got a small funnel and filled up the bowl directly with the pitcher. I figured this would be enough gas to get us going for as long as I was planning to run this. The accelerator pump actually did pump fuel, which was nice and should help us get this going. Okay, so what I did here, since the wiring on the car didn't seem to be sending any ignition power, and I didn't have any gauge lights or dash lights working, what I did was I ran the jumper wire just straight from the hot of the battery over to the positive side of the coil. This will bypass the ballast resistor, the ignition switch, any of the bulkhead connectors and stuff. This should just give me straight 12 volts to the coil, and then I'm just going to use the screwdriver across the starter relay, and we'll see if we can get this thing fired up here. Still not starting. I think I'm going to check for spark now. We'll actually pull a plug wire and check for spark. Maybe the coil is no good. Okay, so we're going to crank it over and see if we have spark on that plug now. Ooh. I did see some spark. Let me see if I can see this better. It's got spark. Well, let me put that spark plug back in and we'll hit it with some starting fluid. Okay, let me get some starter fluid here. All right, get some down inside there. Let's see. Should heat our ignition back up. Come on, old friend. Yeah, she turns tight. See if we can get her fired back up here. Alright, let's fill that carburetor back up and give her another try. Okay, I got the carburetor filled back up now with gas, and I got the doors of the shop open and some fans on to get the fumes out of here. See if she'll run again, hopefully this time without starting fluid. Seems to like that starting fluid. That carburetor just must be dirty inside, not letting any fuel get through. Well, actually it refired after I pumped it a few times because the accelerator pump is giving it fuel. The idle circuit probably just plugged up. Who knows what the inside of this carburetor looks like. Yeah, gonna need a carb rebuild. Well, it actually runs pretty good, just needs that carburetor tuned up. Should be ready to go again. It was pretty cool to see this car fire up. I got it out of the junkyard almost 20 years ago, and yes, it still runs.